What's up, guys? And my name is Tony. Today I'm going to talk about my version of meaning of life. By doing that, I'm gonna use one of my favorite movie, Into the Wild, to explore what is my version of meaning of life. So as you can see, this is the movie cover. The person who's on the cover, his name is Emile Hirsch. He plays Christopher McCandless in the movie, and also it's one of my favorite books as well. It's written by John Kay, and it's a true story, and they later on make it into a movie. Before I talk about my version of meaning of life, I wanted to talk about a little bit who Christopher McCandless is. This movie, sorry about that beeping. Yeah, it's one of my favorite movie. It's also one of my inspirational movie. In a lot of ways, this movie inspired me to see things differently. While watching the film or reading the book, there were many occasions I can see myself in him.
We want to make a present to you.
I'm gonna get you out of that junker.
What junker?
That.
We want to buy you a new car.
That's right.
A new car? Why would I want a new car? Datsun runs great. I mean, do you think I want some fancy boat? Are you worried what the neighbors might think?
Just the fact that he escaping the society and wanted to live a simple life, not to deal with this whole thing where we dominated by the materialistic world. So who is Christopher McCandless? So Christopher McCandless he grew up in Virginia, a suburb of Washington D.C., and later on he graduated from Emory University, where he excelled academically in history and anthropology. And while he was in school, he wrote for the campus newspaper, where he found joy in writing the paper. At the same time, he was eager to travel. He was wanted to go out and see the world and interact with more people other than the society that he lived in. So soon after he received his bachelor degrees in May 1990, he donated all of his possessions, his savings, etc., and cut off communication with his family and set off to travel on his own. First, he drove to Arizona. He did some hiking and interacting with people and make friends. And later on, his car broke down. That was the point that he decided to get rid of all of his government documents, such as identification, social security card, and some other personal belonging that he doesn't need it, such as wallet. So he didn't bring any money with him. He abandoned his car and he hitchhiked all the way to Alaska. During the trip, he worked for small farms and small business to make some money for his trip, but that was it. And he does not own a lot, he does not need a lot, and yeah, I see that philosophy resemble of Leo Tolstoy. Leo Tolstoy often suggests that we should live in a simple life, not to own too much thing. Even though you're super wealthy, you may not find the meaning of life. However, if you live a simple life, you can truly enjoy what life can bring you. And that was Christopher McCandless. So he ended up in Alaska. That's where he always wanted to be, to explore his life. So why I want to talk about him? Why I wanted to talk about Christopher McCandless and how is he related to the meaning of life? So yeah, in that context, and I see a lot of Tolstoy in Christopher McCandless, and Leo Tolstoy was also the biggest influencer in Christopher McCandless' life. And this is a quote that Christopher McCandless has said: "The very basic core of a man's living spirit is his passion for adventure. The joy of life comes from our encounters with new experiences. And hence there is no greater joy than to have a endlessly changing horizon. For each day to have a new and different sun. Christopher McCandless. So yeah, this was set by McCandless because he couldn't find the happiness from his family. So he went out to find happiness. Leo Tolstoy, he was also saying, I quote, "In my search after the question of life I experienced the same feeling which is a man who has lost his way in the forest may experience." So in many ways, Leo Tolstoy was saying like how someone have lost the meaning of life, that cannot find what the meaning of life is. They tend to have the feeling of someone who is lost in the forest, and they're frustrated, they cannot find a way out. And yeah, that's what sets Christopher McCandless' mind to went out for adventures and to find things that he enjoyed and new experiences. So what is my version of meaning of life? For me, my version of meaning of life is, for most of the time, we don't need to rely on the materialistic items to discover the meaning of life. With that said, that means we don't need to have a lot of money to have a meaningful life. What makes a person's life meaningful is that spending time with yourself to experience every aspect of life, such as going on trips and adventures, that you can experience everything that you may be missing out while you're just staying in your repetitive life. And life is not something that we should take for granted. You really never know when it could be your last day. So in turn, it's better to live your life to the fullest. Be grateful for what you have being able to accomplish to this day, other than complaining what you don't have. We started our life with the need of support from our friends and family, such as like when we're a baby, we need a lot of support from our family to raise us and to do all that. And even when we get older, we still need people to support us as we're getting older. Therefore, we should value the moment that we have to be alive and treasure it. And yeah, live your life to the fullest. Yeah, that's what my meaning of life is. And thank you so much.